In 2003, God called me into church planting. It wasn't something I was seeking out. It was something that He just put it before me, and it was clearly obvious that this is what He wanted me to do, to start a church. I didn't know what that meant, and we did the best we could. We started a church in Grand Prairie in 2004, and things went really great. It was a great, wonderful learning experience. It was a group that fluctuated from about 25 to 50 people. It was the best experience of Christian community I've ever had. We did some remarkable things in the ways that we reached out to kids and connected with the kids in our community, but also learned some hard lessons. And eventually in 2008 we closed the church down. God really made that clear to us that it's time. It wasn't a situation where we had to do it at that moment, but we had some things that were going on that led us to believe, and that we really feel God said, let's lay this thing down so that I can do something else. And so I've been in a transition, trying to listen to God. And one thing that I've never heard Him say in any of this is that I'm done with you in church planting. And so I don't know exactly where the next church planting is, but right now what God's called me to is to be a part of this new church that was planted about 1.5 years ago in uptown and downtown Dallas called Storyline. And Storyline's a fantastic ministry. It's a network of house churches that really fits and connects in the culture of uptown Dallas, of downtown Dallas, where you have all these young professionals, a lot of them who are just mainly into having a good time and drinking and being social, but have no meaning in their life. And what we've been able to do with Storyline is to come in and help these people find some meaning. There's pockets of people in there that realize what a waste they're living, and in this little network of house churches that people have been drawn to that. They've been drawn to the authentic community. They've been drawn to the purpose. They've been drawn to, really, it's Jesus that's been drawing them. And it's been fascinating and encouraging and exciting to see the way that life change is taking place in this. And so, God's called my family to that for the next year, and we really believe that He wants us there. And we believe this is an important step for us, discerning where God's calling us after that. Really, if this thing is going to happen, what we've committed to is to I've committed to getting a part-time job, and I'm trying to raise a support team that's going to make this happen. And so what I need people to do is, number one, I'm asking people to consider praying for us, to regularly praying for the work of God in uptown and downtown through Storyline, the work of God in the Lewis family, and to help us discern and hear God's voice in this season. That's number one. Number two is we need people who will contribute financially to us so that we can do this. We're asking, our goal is to raise $4,000 a month. Ideally, we want people who will give to us on a monthly basis. What that does is, one, it provides for our needs. Number two is we're trying to think longer term than just this 1 year season. And so hopefully what we're doing is, should God call us to another church planting like we suspect, then we have a group of people who are invested in us perhaps in a longer term. But our goal right now is for the next year, but with longer term in mind. And then that's the third point too, is we want people to dream with us and to consider what that next thing might be and how God might be calling us, how God might be calling you to participate in what happens in the year beyond. One, we want you to pray for our involvement with Storyline. One thing that's really important to us is that we are a blessing and a help to them. We really feel like we are. We feel like God's called us there, but we want to fit. We're learning a new context. We're learning a new culture. Second, pray that God would help us discern what's going to happen next. When we come to the end of this commitment to Storyline, where does God want us? Church planting or otherwise.